this is my problem, and I'm not sure. Maybe you can help me unpack this.
Okay, we'll try.
I understand. I was watching her performance, and I was like, this performance is obviously great. I also understood that it was funny, but I also hated her character so much.
Yeah. That
I was like, I can't laugh at it. I'm like, I don't even want to laugh at how bad. Like, she's just. If I knew her in real life, I would loathe her, to use the terms of the film. Do you know what I mean? The character, obviously, not the actor. And I know that that's kind of the point, is that she's supposed to be like a problematic character. Like I said, she's like white feminism incarnate. But I had trouble at the beginning of the movie where she had so many songs. And it was, the whole point seemed to be like, this movie's about Glinda. And I was very happy when it turned to be more about Elphaba. It's too real. Yeah. In some cases where I'm like, people who are like this in real life are laughed at, and it's kind of like, slay. And I'm just like, no, we're not slaying. I fucking hate her.
we're not slaying.
Yeah. Mustard! Justin.
Squabble up, Geoff.
And welcome to Bants. Happy Black Friday, Geoff.
Happy Black Friday, and happy being in my black home, Justin.
It's great to be here, Geoff. I just got back from the Crystal Mall.
The Crystal Mall?
Yeah, it's the local mall here in southeastern Connecticut. Geoff, have you been there recently?
I have not been there. But I did drive by a few days ago and saw a sign that said Ice Imports. Yeah, we're still open.
You're not the only one who hasn't been there, Geoff. Because let me tell you, it was Black Friday today. It was extremely empty.
Yeah.
I went to go pick up a shirt for something later this weekend that I have to do, and it was deeply depressing.
How many stores were open in that mall that used to house 180 stores? At storefronts.
Well, there was the aforementioned Ice Imports, which for those who are not in Connecticut, that's like your classic mall store that sells like swords for some reason and like statues of dragons.
It's for the weebs.
Yeah, weeb type store. Men's Warehouse. You know, you got to have some place to get your rental tuxes if you're getting married in southeastern Connecticut. It's probably the only reason they're still open.
Men's Warehouse. You're going to look the way you look.
You may not like the way you look, but you will look the way you look.
Yep.
And then some toy store, like a off-brand B-list toy store.
Not a KB Toy.
No, not a KB Toy.
Remember that?
I don't even remember the name, but yeah, I remember KB Toy.
I loved KB Toys. I would go in there and fantasize about having hundreds of dollars to spend on Super Nintendo games and 64 games.
You know, games. It reminds me of how the Toys R Us that's right next to the mall now is now like a Hartford healthcare building.
That
Deeply sad.
One of my doctors is there. Two of my doctors are there.
Yeah, everything is depressing.
And it's just gray.
Yeah, it's very it's just sad. I hear actually that the Gen Zs, the youths, are taking TikToks in Crystal Mall and calling it an abandoned mall for creepy pasta type video discourse.
Pasta type video?
Creepy pasta.
What is creepy pasta?
Okay, creepy pasta.
Like a tagliatelle? A cavatappi.
Do you know what a copy pasta is?
No.
Okay. Do you know those paragraph long things that you copy and then paste it somewhere as a joke? Wicked Witch of the East, bro. Like that paragraph.
Okay.
And you'll copy it from one well-known meme place and then paste it somewhere else. Or those funny horny ones that you do on election day that's
oh yeah.
We're voting for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Those are copy pastas.
Got it.
So it's things you copy and paste. It's the new version of a forwarded email chain or something.
The email chains.
And then a creepypasta is in my opinion, kind of cringe now, but creepy story copy paste thing.
There's a lot of people on TikTok who run accounts as just creepypasta then.
Yeah. Yeah. And apparently they've been going to the Crystal Mall for creepy videos of abandoned malls.
You know, there's a creator who lives in our area who posted one, and he does enhanced reality videos and did a weird thing of a bunch of people standing in the Crystal Mall creepily.
I mean, it's very creepy. Most of the escalators don't even work.
I'll tell you what, they didn't work when that mall was open and thriving either. They've never worked
But now they're not even trying to fix them.
Yeah, they're just like, it's a wrap.
Yeah, they're like, we're just letting this decay until it's not profitable for us anymore.
Literally.
There was only one restaurant open in the food court.
Was it Saku Japan?
You know it was Saku Japan.
Oh, man. You know what? I don't know how they stayed open. I'm convinced that place is a front.
I will say they did not have the free samples of chicken, which is how you know that place is going downhill.
Play Hard Times by Paramore.
Geoff accidentally activated his own phone.
Yeah, we have to bleep the S word as usual.
But otherwise, it's been a great week at home. So, yeah, had a good holiday.
That's great. I did too. You guys came over for our Night of 10 Charlie's party, which was so fun.
That is right. And I have to update the listeners about Geoff's karaoke choices. A small minor tragedy. Geoff did not sing Defying Gravity at karaoke.
I did not.
He did sing Popular and The Wizard and I.
Hits.
And I will say, killed it both times. Excellent performances.
Thank you.
Although it was a bizarre karaoke setup in that bar.
That was a weird... That setup was dark-sided. Why would you have a TV mounted on the wall immediately adjacent to the front door of the bar, and then have the bar right next to that, like mere feet away from said door?
It was really funny to see people like walking in the front door, immediately hearing the karaoke is happening, like swiveling their head back and forth, and then noticing that they're in front of the lyrics, and they like crouch like somebody's shooting at them. Like
it was sort of like you were hunting with Dick Cheney every time someone came in the door.
Yep.
Yeah, that was crazy. Bad setup. And they had a whole back room. So I'm just and there was like nothing there. There was like booths and one singular pool table in a huge room. So I just don't know why they wouldn't stick karaoke in the back.
I think I figured it out, which is that there's essentially only one TV. Or there's two TVs in the bar. One of them was like in a really inconvenient place, and the other one was right by the front door.
Yes.
Which is also an inconvenient place, but at least there's like physical space for the DJ who was running karaoke to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no TV in the back room, which had a lot of space.
You know what? You're the second person to say, well, I think it's because the TV is over here. To which I will also say to you, as I did the first person, then move the TV. What year are we in? It's not like it's 1997 and you're wheeling around like a tube TV on a cart from
like
classroom to classroom.
Yeah.
It's not the art teachers coming in and we're watching an instructional video by Bob Ross. Like, it's a flat screen TV. I could probably have moved it myself.
It was mounted to the wall, I think.
Okay, again, what I said to the other person who said the same thing, I'm like, then put a different mount over there or take it all down and put it up. That's like an hour and a half project. Tops.
Okay, here's what happened. The DJ, who I will not name because I don't want to slander them.
Shan't.
The DJ probably showed up like an hour before karaoke was supposed to start and looked at the situation and was like, oh, the TV is in this spot.
No. That's actually not what happened, because when we went there last week to see if we went there to try it out and see if they were going to be doing karaoke the night before Thanksgiving. They were like, oh yeah, we do it right here. And I was like, what? Skirt. It made no sense to me.
Okay. In that case, no excuses.
None.
No excuse for that.
Nope.
I'm trying my hardest here.
I know. You're trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. I will do no such thing.
Well, Geoff, why don't we get into some hot topics? Or more accurately, like singular hot topic.
Hot topic.
Yeah, because we have a packed episode. We're going to be talking about the hot film Wicked, which is probably going to be one of the biggest films of the year.
Yeah,
and
hands down.
The slightly less hot, but I would say still sizzling film Gladiator II.
Would you also say sexy?
Some would say that.
Oh.
Lots of good thigh shots if you're into that.
Not you, apparently.
Paul Mescal.
We'll have to get into it.
We will.
We also have to get into the pronunciation of that man's name.
How do you... Am I saying it wrong?
I don't know, but what you have said is what I've heard a lot of people say, and if that is his name, that is also dork-sided. I don't like it.
Mescal? Might be a mescal.
Like mescaline greens.
Yeah.
Mescal. I don't know. The spelling and the pronunciations aren't doing it for me.
But before we get to that, we have to talk about who I would say is flop of the year, Drake.
This story about Drake is so dumb and such like pathetic loser energy.
Okay, so a bit of background here. Kendrick and Drake earlier this year, had a beef over, I don't even know what it was over, honestly. There was like a kind of this slowly escalating beef over whether or not Drake was like really in the hip hop community and whether he was like good for the community. That's, I think, what it was mostly about. And Drake kind of like in a lesser way saying that Kendrick is kind of like a poser, like a conscious rapper who is like not actually that conscious. He's a hypocrite is what Drake was trying to put across. But I think generally people thought that Kendrick was the winner of that beef.
No kidding.
We do have an episode about that I'll link in the show notes if you want to have a little bit more detail about that. But recently, Kendrick dropped the final track in that beef, which was Not Like Us, which I think pretty unequivocally is the biggest hip-hop song of the year. Following that, a few months later, just last week, he surprise released his new album, GNX, which has been doing very well commercially. There's been a few viral moments from that album already on like the socials that you may have already heard from Geoff and I earlier in the opening. And it's kind of a continuation of that beef. Even though he doesn't like outwardly talk shit about Drake during the album, a lot of the same themes of his diss tracks are on the album. So the recent development here is that Drake's company, which is called, hilariously, Frozen Moments, not that far from Ice Imports.
Wait, also not that far from like Remembered Moments and Things Remembered, like the Hallmark store.
Very weird name for a company, but apparently it's a company that Drake owns, Frozen Moments.
I don't like that.
Has sued Universal Music Group, which is UMG, and Spotify for, quote, artificially inflating, end quote, the popularity of Kendrick's diss track Not Like Us.
Okay, if he took some of the money that he's putting into this lawsuit and the time that he's putting into this and just focus on creating better music, he too could have the biggest hip-hop song of the year.
I have so many... This is just really insane for a number of reasons, okay?
Yeah, name them.
First, UMG is Kendrick's label.
Yeah.
But it's also Drake's label. Okay? So he's suing his own record label.
Imagine suing your boss.
He's so petty that
he's
like,
I'm still working for you, but I'm gonna sue your ass. That's crazy behavior.
It's insane. It feels like this is the beginning of a really steep downward spiral to me, where Drake's going to go independent and potentially have far less success. Because, here's number two, Drake has also benefited from the same shit that he's suing UMG over, right? He's alleging that UMG has, quote unquote, artificially promoted Not Like Us by things like bots and by offering like discounted rates to Spotify for streaming and stuff like that. Drake, do you forget that like your face was on every single fucking Spotify playlist for like 5 years running?
Yeah.
He is the number one case for artificially inflating the popularity of somebody.
Totally.
If you're going to make this argument, like this is your record label. They did the same stuff with you.
It's literally giving Trump vibes. It's like it's only okay when I do it.
Exactly. It's clear that this is not Drake actually being like, I really think that what Kendrick did was wrong and I want to sue him for it.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just like, I'm rich and I can afford to be petty in this way, where I can actually afford to damage Kendrick's career, right? Don't forget that
floppish.
Kendrick was alleging that Drake is like a pedophile in his songs and still wasn't calling the cops on him.
Bloop.
Right? He still wasn't Karening on Drake. And then Drake is going to fucking Karen on Kendrick for like allegedly, quote unquote, artificially inflating his song.
Yeah, you see it. We see it happening.
Also, like, Not Like Us is genuinely a huge song.
Oh, it's
like,
good.
But also, like, the Kendrick Drake beef was like the talk of the summer.
It was.
Like, even if, allegedly UMG was doing all of these tactics to inflate its popularity, sure. But even if they weren't doing that, do you really think it would have been not a hit?
No, it definitely would have.
It would have still had a huge word of mouth factor because of the beef situation, right?
100%.
This is honestly just like further confirmation that Drake took the L in this beef.
It is a sad and desperate attempt to get your name in the headlines.
Right.
Sorry, Drake. Give up the ghost, honey.
Also, has he ever heard of the Streisand effect?
I haven't heard of that. What is it? Barbara?
The Barbara Streisand effect, yes. So, I think this is related
so powerful, they created an effect name after me.
I forget exactly what... I'll have to look up what the original... Like, why it's named the Streisand effect. I'll put that in post. But it's basically a phenomenon where if you bring attention to a controversy that you're involved in, it'll only make more people know about that controversy. Like,
okay. Drake
Drake is only calling more attention to the fact that he lost this beef by doing this lawsuit, right? Like, this is essentially... This is just going to be a self-error. right? Like unforced error on Drake's part.
Hold on, I'm looking up the Streisand effect right now.
Okay, so looking up what the Streisand effect is now, it's named for Barbra Streisand, like we mentioned. But apparently her attorney tried in 2003 to suppress the publication of a picture of her residence in Malibu, which was taken to document coastal erosion in California. And apparently the attempt to suppress the publication of this photograph actually brought more attention to the photograph, thus the Streisand effect, right? By trying to suppress something, it actually makes it way more of an issue for you, just like Drake is doing here with this lawsuit.
Yeah. My issue was never with the photo. It was about the use of my name attached to the photo. I felt like I was standing up for principle, but in retrospect, it was a mistake. That's what she said about it.
And I think this is a mistake for Drake as well.
I think it was a mistake for me to try a Barbara impression. We're going to cut that. Also, you were talking about the mall, and then we were talking about Hot Topics. And then we said Hot Topic. What about that store?
I did not go to that part of the mall. I suspect it's still open.
I feel like it must
I feel like Hot Topic and Spencer's are like two of the last stores that are like mall coded.
Where else will everybody get their naughty birthday cards and their large, like, where else will the emo kids get their costumes and the goth kids?
Their costumes.
I mean, outfits. I mean, normal street clothing.
I mean, clothing that they wear.
Yeah.
As normal people.
As very normal people. Remember how big those, like, wide leg jeans were? So huge.
Yeah, but you know that's back.
It was like wearing like two dresses on each leg, and then you sewed them up in the back together.
The parachute pants were crazy.
Parachute pants and the big chains on them. Couldn't sneak up on anybody.
Yeah.
You hear that green-haired bitch coming down the hall.
I don't think that was the goths' goal.
Yeah,
I don't think they really wanted to sneak up on anybody.
No, they wanted to be seen.
Yeah.
Remember the scene kids after the goth wave? What was going on in the 2000s?
A lot.
We were experimenting with a lot of things.
9/11.
Oh my god, 9/11. We're back to it. It always comes back on this podcast. We bring it up all the time.
The war in Iraq.
I listened back, and I think we've literally mentioned 9/11 like 8 times. I
mean, it's like one of the formative events of our lifetimes. I think it's
formative
normal.
Culture.
Yeah.
Canon.
Yeah, it's part of the canon. Part of the band's canon. I do want to talk a little bit more about the new Kendrick album related to this.
Okay. Let's hear about it.
So I've listened to it a couple more times since we talked last week. I think it's actually pretty good. I think it's like a better version of Damn, which is that album I compared it to last time. In that Kendrick's having a lot of fun, which is not always the case for him. Like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, his previous album was very serious, and he was like talking to himself about whether or not he should be a leader, right? He has the savior complex, which I think is part of the problem that you have with him, right?
Yeah. Is
that he has the savior complex. And that album, he was like very seriously like considering whether or not, you know, that's a problem for him and whether he should try to be a leader and a role model. And he basically came down on the side of like, I probably shouldn't, and I should like focus on my own family.
Yep.
And then of course this whole beef happened where he does have a savior complex still, even despite that conclusion he came to on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, right? That's part of the problem I think we had with the whole beef, if you go back to that episode and listen back. GNX is very much a continuation of that theme where he's just like being super ignorant and just kind of having fun and partying. Like there's a lot of memeable moments on this album in ways that are like really visceral and just fun in a way that I haven't heard in a Kendrick album since probably Damn. And it's like way more fun than Damn, I think. And then there are also those lyrical Kendrick-esque literary devices that he does to kind of like, you know, Kendrick flavor is still sprinkled in there, but I think there's going to be a couple of bangers from this album that are going to like hit the charts.
Yeah, how about Squabble Up?
Squabble Up. Yeah.
I love that. I sent you that funny ass video.
It's memeable. That video is hilarious. It was it's like a
I loved it.
It's like a black man from America teaching a bunch of international folks how to dance to Squabble Up.
It's so good.
It's deeply funny. You got to watch it. We'll put it in the show notes. Maybe I'll see if I can put a clip in here.
Everybody else needs to be straight. No moving. Got it? That is the word. Don't move. Stay still. Move nahi karna. Stay. Right. What did you just say?
Move nahi karna. Right. What did you just say?
But yeah, if you're like into hip hop music and you haven't listened to it already, which actually seems like if you're into hip hop music, you've probably listened to it already. But even if you're not, give it like one spin.
Give it a little spin.
Yeah, see how you feel about it. But yeah, that's it for our hot topic. Do you want to take a quick break?
Yeah, let's.
All right.
And we're back.
We are back, and we're ready to talk about this year's Barbenheimer, Glicked, aka Wickiator, aka Jeff's preferred term, Gladiator, which no one is saying.
Well, Justin, I also forgot that I said that, which you just reminded me of before recording.
I was re-listening to our Longlegs episode, and that's the first time we talked about these two movies, and yeah, I ended up doing the double feature.
You sure did.
Did you, Jeff?
I did not. I couldn't subject myself to sit through Gladiator. Too horny. Just kidding. I just wanted to see Wicked really badly, and I went with my mom. It was so good.
Yeah?
I loved it. But I want to hear about, since I didn't see it, I want to talk to you about Gladiator 2.
Yeah, well,
and find out more about it.
I will say that I watched Wicked first and then Gladiator.
Interesting.
Because Wicked was much longer. Gladiator was like maybe 20 minutes shorter than Wicked.
Is that much longer at that point?
Okay, fine. Wicked broke the 2.5 hour mark. It was like 2 hours 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And Gladiator was a more respectable like 2:15 or something like that. So
movies are so long these days.
They're so long.
They're so long. I think cut off at 2 hours moving forward.
I think 2 hours is like the perfect movie length.
I agree.
Keep them at 2 hours.
Keep them at 2. Don't go any further.
But Gladiator 2.
Well, Gladiator 2, Justin.
That's right. So it's a sequel to the 2000 film Gladiator.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that original film?
No, I did not. Did you?
Wow. So Brandy and I actually rewatched it like a couple days before Glicked.
In preparation.
I think I had watched it like once or twice when I was very young. Because this movie came out when I was 9.
Damn.
It won Best Picture.
Young girl.
Ridley Scott directed, who, you know, famously was a director of Alien, of Napoleon.
Wait, it won Best Picture?
It won Best Picture that year.
For real?
Yeah.
What was it up against in the year 2000?
I don't know, but it's like a classic dudes rock movie. Like, it is one of those movies where it's like, okay, boys are getting together, crack open a couple cold ones, we're watching Gladiator.
Oscar's so male.
Oh yeah, well this was like before, you know, this was like peak dudes rock culture, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One could argue that we may be hitting second peak in the next year.
I think it's coming around. I'll say that. I don't think that the timing of this Gladiator 2 sequel is a coincidence.
We should have known. We should have known when they tried to steal Wicked's release date. We should have known then how the election was going to turn out.
I will say that watching Gladiator, even though it's a dudes rock movie, it does have a surprisingly, it's like kind of pseudo-political. It's not like trying aggressively to be political, but it has a lot to say about like populism and the dangers of populism.
Oh, how apropos.
Exactly. I think that it's very easy to watch that now and see that Joaquin Phoenix's character, who is the emperor in the first Gladiator, there's a lot of parallels between Joaquin and a certain populist president-elect. So, wasn't very subtle. I don't know. I thought that maybe it's a little overrated on rewatch, the first Gladiator.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking into the development of this movie, and it turns out that like the script wasn't even written when they started shooting.
What?
Yeah, they were like writing it on the spot, and there was a lot of improvised dialogue. Like
that is crazy.
Strength and honor, which is like a catchphrase of Russell Crowe's character, Maximus, in the film. That was just an improvisation by Russell Crowe. It was not written in the script. There's all kinds of little ad-libs which were not written in the script.
Oh my god, Russell Crowe won for Best Actor for that movie?
Mm-hmm. This was like a career-making picture for him.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't believe this.
I feel like it's a huge film. I'm surprised you haven't seen it. It used to air like on cable channels all the time, like, you know, when they didn't have original programming, yeah. But yeah, so like I was going in to Gladiator 2 to get to the new film.
Yep.
With pretty like mid expectations. I was like, I think the first one's emotional arc of Maximus was pretty complete. Didn't really think that there was like a necessity for a sequel.
Well, so what's the whole story? Like, what was the basic premise of Gladiator, the first movie in 2001?
Well, it's classic like Roman Empire shit.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
So Takes place during the height of the Roman Empire.
Yep.
Russell Crowe plays Maximus,
Yep.
who is a general in the Roman army.
Okay.
And he has finally conquered the final part of Germania that the Romans hadn't already conquered.
Uh-huh.
At the very beginning of the movie, there's like this huge battle scene.
Got it.
And then essentially what happens is the emperor dies in a mysterious circumstance. And it becomes known that the emperor wanted Maximus to take over, but instead the son of the emperor takes control. And he tries to have Maximus killed.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Right. This son of the emperor is played by Joaquin Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
a young Joaquin Phoenix. This is a breakout role for him as well.
Wow.
Essentially, Maximus is sentenced to death. He's as part of the coup. And then he escapes the execution, but becomes a slave. And in his slavery, in his enslavement, he is brought into the arena to fight as a gladiator.
Got it.
And through a series of events, he ends up in Rome in the big arena, the Coliseum. And there's a series of like action set pieces that take place in the arena, including a climactic confrontation between him and Joaquin Phoenix's character, right?
Drama.
And of course, like part of the interesting like themes here is that the arena is ruled as like a populist zone, right? Everybody there is just rooting for whoever they think is the best, right?
Yeah.
And Joaquin Phoenix's character, Commodus, is obsessed with people liking him, right? He wants to be the populist leader.
Yep.
But Maximus is like this general. He's a reluctant leader, right? And that's why the dead emperor wanted him to rule. He was like, only somebody who doesn't want it should take it.
Yeah.
Classic shit, you know. And Commodus is like,
They love that.
but come on, I'm like your son. I care about leadership. I care about Rome, right? But he's kind of
I'm baby.
yeah. And he cares too much. Like he is a bit of a fascist. He wants to get rid of the Senate, the Roman Senate.
Interesting.
But the outcoming emperor, Marcus Aurelius, is the older emperor who passed away.
Yeah.
He wanted to reinstate the Republic, right? Give more power to the senators in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the conflict. It's like both a physical conflict and that there are all these incredible like action set pieces. There's one really impressive one with a chariot that comes out, and Russell Crowe's character Maximus has to team up with the other gladiators on foot to take out these chariots that come into the arena.
Oh, easy. All you gotta do is put your spear in their little wheel spokes. Done.
But it's hard. Like they have these rotating blades that are very far out from the wheel spokes, so nobody can get close.
You gotta have true aim and a strong arm. You can javelin that shit right in there, Justin.
Right. And that's exactly
I would
what
do.
Maximus said. Maximus was like, relax, team up. We have a strategy for this. Right.
Sounds like I would be a great reluctant leader. Don't you think? I'm very reluctant. Don't make me lead.
Are you really
Don't
reluctant
make me
to
lead.
That's like the general premise. Maximus,
Sure.
spoilers for a movie that's 24 years old.
Okay, well.
Maximus dies at the end.
Oh no!
Russell Crowe's character dies, but
I
that's
didn't
always-
expect it.
that's always how this goes, right? It's like he sacrifices himself for the greater good of Rome. And then you never have to govern, of course, right?
That's tough. All that work and no reward. Couldn't be me.
Well,
Guess I'm not that reluctant.
The reward is death, right? Because his wife and child were also killed by Commodus.
Please end the suffering now.
And he wants to like return to
be with his
Elysium
family.
to be with his family.
Yeah.
So there's always this like very like dudes rock energy of like, I just want to be with my wife, but I need to fight for the good of Rome.
Sure.
You know, the dialogue is honestly bad. That was something that I was shocked about.
If they're making up as they go along, how couldn't it be?
Exactly. Like, and I think that was something I didn't realize. Like that idea, the theory of the arc that Maximus goes through is great, but the actual like moment to moment dialogue hit or miss. You know.
And you know what? This is just another example of why we need writers.
Yeah,
They're
writing is
very
so important. Yeah.
Well, okay, so thank you for explaining that background, because I truly did not watch that movie, and I don't have to watch it either after that glowing review. But I do want to talk about what's basically the premise for this second Gladiator movie.
Yeah, I mean, that was the question I had going into the theater as well.
Mhm.
So, Gladiator 2 stars Paul Mescal.
Yeah.
Don't know how to pronounce his name. He, I would say, is like an actor of the moment right now.
Oh,
he
yeah.
is thirsted over by many folks these days. I think
The world renowned.
he was in Normal People, right? That
Normal People.
television show that is a bit of a romance
Hulu.
on Hulu. He's got great thighs.
Love the thighs.
People love that. And he plays a fighter, a leader of an army in an African colony.
You know, it's 2024 now. We can have black people on screen, so why not put it in Africa?
It's like I think it's like, you know, northern Africa.
Yeah,
off the coast of Europe.
Morocco, Egypt.
Right,
area.
Morocco type area. And he's fighting again with his wife. His wife is an archer. You know, it's 2024. Women can fight now. That's the vibes.
She's an archer.
An archer.
Oh, archer. Shooting the bow.
Shooting arrows.
The old bow and arrow.
Right.
Got it.
And very similar to the first Gladiator, Gladiator II opens with a huge naval battle where the Roman army is invading, essentially, or sieging this castle where Paul Mescal is.
I've got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Did they use Greek fire in this naval battle?
They did not, that I remember.
Ooh.
And Pedro Pascal plays the Roman general who is leading the charge against Paul Mescal and his wife and the other people who are there
this is fascinating casting.
In this castle, right?
Uh-huh.
The African colony loses. Paul Mescal, take a wild guess what happens to him.
Dies.
No, think about what... Like Maximus, he is enslaved, and he becomes a gladiator.
Oh my god, no way.
Thus the name of the movie.
It happened again.
Yeah, can you believe it?
Does he die at the end of the movie? We'll get there.
We'll get into that with the spoilery part. Okay. So that's the premise, basically. Like, he becomes a gladiator, and at the beginning, his parentage and his history is unknown. It's a mystery. But it's a major plot point later on.
Oh, I bet it is.
I guess I accidentally spoiled that plot point, actually, in our earlier Longlegs episode. I guess it wasn't open knowledge, even though the movie hadn't been out yet. But yeah, his parentage is a little bit mysterious.
Well, good thing it's me sitting in this chair, because I don't remember. I don't remember talking about that.
The other major character, other than Paul Mescal's character... Yeah, so Paul Mescal's character is called Hano, and Pedro Pascal is General Acacius. Those are the two of the main characters, and then I would say the third major character is Denzel Washington, who absolutely fucking steals this movie. He is by far easily the best part of this movie. It's not close. He is so good. He plays an ex-gladiator who manages all of the gladiators, basically. So if you've watched Gladiator 1, it's similar to like the Proximo character, who in Gladiator 1, he was like this noble ex-gladiator who like believed in Maximus and empowered him to rebel against the Roman Empire. So Denzel Washington plays a character who's similar, but importantly not the same as Proximo in Gladiator 2. His character is called Macrinus. That's the general setup. In terms of how I felt about the movie, I think the political message that I was trying to get across was not quite as strong as Gladiator 1.
Despite better dialogue.
The dialogue was a bit better. The script was written before the production here.
I mean, yeah, the bar's on the floor, so...
Exactly. The script still wasn't, like, incredible. I wasn't like, wow, this is so subtle, right? It was still very big, you know?
Justin, they can't do subtle for the straight men, you know?
Not for Gladiator.
Not for the crowd that's attracting. They just look who they just voted in. Okay, enough said.
Script was not incredible, but the political point that they're trying to make seemingly is like, it's important to be critical of the institutions and things that we have in our democracies and our governments, but we also can't be nihilistic, right?
Sure.
And there's a character who I won't spoil during this part who is very much trying to burn it all down, basically. Not just like reform, but just like tear the whole thing down.
Start from scratch.
Right. And I think the movie is trying to make the argument of like, we need to actually be able to govern and reform.
Very centrist.
But, it doesn't really make that argument very strongly. I don't think it's as strong as the political message in that first movie.
Neither the centrists. Look at what didn't happen.
I will also say, the action scenes in this movie, pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good. There's an incredible scene, and I don't think this is a spoiler because it's been shown in trailers and stuff, but there's a scene where they flood the coliseum, and they have like a fake naval battle, and they put sharks.
Yeah, that was wild.
Wild fight scene. There's also an incredible scene at the very beginning of the movie where Paul Mescal fights a series of CGI baboons.
Excuse me?
Yeah. They it used to happen like historically in the Coliseum is they would like put animals for the gladiators to fight. In the first Gladiator,
they put like lions and things like that, but baboons?
Yeah.
Savage.
Very cool scene. Very cool scene.
But he kills the baboons.
kills the lions, you know? They didn't give a shit about the people either, Geoff, you know?
I know, but I mean, I guess, like, on screen, like, if you're killing a lion, it's like, I understand that because lions have been portrayed as, like, man's foe so many times before. But baboons, that's Rafiki.
Yeah.
The monkey's his uncle?
Baboons are actually very aggressive animals.
Banana.
Well, I can tell you that these baboons do not look like Rafiki. But yeah, those are like my high thoughts. I thought it was like fine. And for reasons that are spoilery, I'm kind of more interested in a potential Gladiator 3.
Okay.
Which has already been discussed. Ridley Scott has said that he's interested in making a Gladiator 3.
I'm guessing someone had a baby.
Why don't we get into spoilers?
All right, let's fucking do it.
All right. What's up, y'all? Editor Justin here. If you want to skip Gladiator 2 spoilers, you can go to the 46-minute mark. All right, let's get back to the pod.
Spoilers abound, F-slurs. Tell me, what happened?
Okay.
What happened?
So, Proximo, who is the kind of like the leader of the gladiators in Gladiator 1.
Denzel.
Well, in Gladiator 1, he's not played by Denzel. He's played by a different guy. And he ends up being like a good guy in the end of the movie. Denzel in Gladiator 2, first of all, like I mentioned, so charismatic. He gives so much energy to his role. He absolutely dominates this movie. By far the best part. I don't know if he was ever chewing gum, but it seemed like he was, you know?
He loves gum.
But he was incredible. And it turns out he takes a villainous turn.
Oh my.
About midway through the movie, it becomes clear that he has ambitions of some kind.
Sure.
And it's mysterious what the ambitions are, right? You think, oh, maybe he is on the side of the Senate, right? Maybe he's like trying to take out these two twin Caesars or dictators, basically, who are ruling Rome at this time.
There's twin emperors?
Yeah, twin emperors.
Like actual twins?
I think they're twins, fraternal, but twins, yeah. Not portrayed by actual twins, but in the fiction of the movie, they're twin emperors. One of them is played by Joseph Quinn, who is the guy who's Eddie in Stranger Things. And he does a really good job. He plays kind of like the more functional of the two. And then the other twin is played by Fred Hetchinger, who was in the first season of White Lotus. And he plays like a absolutely mentally ill, like literally emperor who has syphilis and it's gone to his brain. Like he is crazy.
Oh, damn. Yes, Fred Hetchinger. He was also in that movie with Amy Adams.
Yes.
The Woman in the Window.
Yep. And
also
I think that of the two, I think Joseph Quinn does a better job. But it becomes clear that Denzel Washington's character is not a fan of them. And you're not sure if he's like on Paul Mescal's side, Hanno's side, or if he just wants to burn it all down. Turns out he's an ex-gladiator himself, and he's been wronged by the system.
Yeah.
He just wants to burn it all down.
Sure.
He's kind of a nihilist, right?
Yeah.
What ends up happening is that it's not so much a twist. It was very heavily implied in the first movie, but it turns out that Paul Mescal, Hanno, he actually is Lucius Aurelius, who is the grandson of Marcus Aurelius and the son of Maximus, the character from Gladiator 1.
Oop.
So
how do I know?
So he's actually the heir to the throne. Baby. Yeah. He's actually heir to the throne, and he essentially plans a coup at the end of the movie, and he ends up fighting Denzel Washington's character at the very end.
Oh shit, girl.
There was this really fast-paced ending to the movie where it's like Denzel murders one of the emperors and then takes power for himself and takes over the Senate, and then he's like, all right, we're taking over Rome. And then Lucius, for unclear reasons, this is the part that I think is weak. He's like, all right, now I'm going to fight for Rome. Like, now I believe in Rome. And it's like, when did that happen?
Black man in power and said we can't have that.
It's very weird. So he defeats Denzel, and he like convinces both sides. He's like, can't we all just get along? Don't we all believe in Rome? The message supposedly being like, it's important to have like ideals and believe in a society instead of just trying to every man for himself it, you know, which is kind of what Denzel's character represented in the world of the movie.
Yeah.
I think it was weak because, again, Denzel used the Senate to take power. Like the institution that is in place in Rome is corrupted to the point where Denzel used it, right? I keep calling him Denzel because he's basically just playing himself. Yeah. But he uses that institution to take power, which I think weakens the intended message of the film.
I heard that everybody was doing an accent except for him. And I kind of love that.
He's fully just like, he's got a New York accent. Like in the movie.
It's so funny.
But it's so, like, I don't care. You know, I was watching the movie
Yeah.
and I'm like, he's the only one that's, like, giving it a little bit of oomph.
Yeah, you can,
know?
like, suspend the disbelief.
It's totally worth it.
Mhm.
I don't care that he wasn't doing an accent.
I think it's
I
so
simply
funny.
don't care. Paul Mescal, by comparison, was doing absolutely nothing other than
Oop.
looking hot.
Oop.
Like, he
He's
was
a
just
bad actor.
He had no. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad actor. It could be the writing, but he was like he barely had any personality. Like, his character was basically just like, I'm a good fighter, and I guess I care about Rome.
Isn't that so often the case with these pretty boys?
And like these lead characters, who it's
Yeah.
like you're supposed to be able to kind of like, as the average Gladiator 2 viewer who's probably like a dude, imprint yourself upon the main guy, right?
Well, maybe that's part of why. Oh, sorry, I'm screaming. Maybe that's part of why, because they're like, if we give them no personality, every straight dude can be like, oh, he seems pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Tough.
They're like, just like me.
Yep, pretty much, Justin.
Uh,
It's tough out here. Justin, I have a question, though.
yeah.
Were there any fucking women in this movie?
Okay.
Like, any? One? Maybe?
So there's one, and it's one of the only cast members that's returning from Gladiator.
Oh, the archer?
No, so the archer actually dies in the very first scene, just
Oh,
like
of course.
Maximus, his
I
wife
bet
is
she
killed.
was black, too.
Well, she actually is like.
Oh, my God. I knew it.
It seems like she might be like Middle Eastern or something in ethnicity. She dies at the very beginning, and that's
They
why he
said,
wants
we're
to
not down with the brown.
He wants to get revenge on Pedro Pascal's character, the general. This is something I didn't explain, but Pedro Pascal's character is actually married to Lucilla, who is the only returning character from Gladiator 1. She's played by Connie Nielsen. And Connie Nielsen, I think, was one of the best parts of Gladiator 1, and she also does a pretty good job here in Gladiator 2. She's the main female character in the film.
Okay, so we
And-
had the one.
Yes, we have one. And Pedro Pascal's married to her, and one of the twists is that he had been portrayed as the villain, right? As this Roman general who fights against Henno at the beginning of the film. But it turns out he's kind of a good guy. Him and Lucilla are working together to try to overthrow these twin emperors, right?
Okay.
Their coup ends up failing, and both Pedro Pascal's character and Lucilla
Jail.
are dead
Oh.
by the end of the movie.
Damn.
So, yeah, all remnants of Gladiator 1 are gone by the end of Gladiator 2.
Shit.
The part that makes me interested here in Gladiator 3
Yeah.
is that Paul Mescal is alive at the end, and he is the heir apparent to become the emperor. And then there's this much more interesting question to me, which is like, okay, now that you've like used all this rhetoric and said that like you care about Rome, and now you have the power,
What you gonna do?
how do you govern?
Yeah.
And I think that is something, you know, in Gladiator 1, Maximus dies. It's like he survived, but then he dies, and then it's like, what matters afterwards? After, like, in this power vacuum? Nobody cares, end of the movie, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then in Gladiator 2, 15 years later, it's a very, like, somehow Palpatine return situation.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, the bad guys are in power now. How did that happen? I don't know. Now we actually can have, like, a storyline about, like, so now what happens? Now that, you know, Lucius won.
Don't you think that might be giving the filmmakers a little bit too much credit, though? Because, like, do you think they're going to take a more thoughtful and examined approach to telling that story, or do you think they're just going to go for more big set pieces and flashy stuff?
Well, I don't think they're going to go like, okay, now we're doing a political drama. There's obviously
Right.
going to be arena scenes, right? But there were also arena scenes in Gladiator 1 where the Emperor took part, right? Commodus fought Maximus in the climax of Gladiator 1. So, like, Lucius, played by Paul Mescal, like, he can also still fight in the arena, right? Maybe he has a villain turn, right? Ridley Scott has talked about how he wants to have a film inspired by Marcus Aurelius, who I think is like remembered fondly now, but was a controversial leader at the time. And Lucius could be like a version of Marcus Aurelius in that he's a very successful emperor in some ways, but also a very controversial one. And I could see them doing that. They're not going to go full like people sitting in the castle talking movie. But I think at least the themes will be more interesting than it was in Gladiator 2, which in many ways was just like a redux of the same stuff that happened in Gladiator 1, you know? So I'm curious to see if it gets made, because Ridley Scott is like almost 90. It's
Is
actually,
he really?
yeah, I mean,
Damn.
he's one of the most prolific directors that's still living.
He's been in the game for a minute.
A long time. Like, Gladiator 1 was already like mid-career for him.
True, yeah. Man, Alien was a long time ago.
It really was, shockingly, a long time ago. Yeah. Well, that's it for Gladiator 2.
That's a lot for Gladiator 2. I sort of want to watch it now. I'm just kind of curious.
If you're curious, I would say watch Gladiator 1.
True.
If that hits for you,
I could stream that.
watch 2.
Yep.
If it doesn't hit, you probably won't like Gladiator 2. That would be my opinion.
I think that's fair, but I hate Russell Crowe so much. It's going to be hard to try to sit through that. You know, I've never seen a Russell Crowe movie.
Never.
Well, I watched What Women Want, and I was like, this guy sucks.
Did you watch Les Mis?
Nope.
Wow.
Never watched it. I was not interested because I really hate him. He was such an asshole in What Women Want. And, like, I know he was an actor, obviously. But then all the he was just, like, too good at being, like, a horrible person and a total jerk. And then you hear all the whisperings about how he's a bad person, and then you hear all his crazy anti-Semitic rants and stuff.
Are you thinking of Mel Gibson, or did he also have...
I am thinking of Mel Gibson. Never mind.
I was like, is there an anti-Semitic rant I don't know about?
You know what, Justin? I think all white men look the same. They all look the same to me. Well, on that note, let's take a quick break.
Let's take a break. And we'll be back to talk about Wicked.
Fully talking about the wrong person.
And we're back.
We're back, baby, and better than ever.
And we're so ready to talk about Wicked, which I think of the two movies here, Geoff, you're probably more excited about.
I would say that I'm wickedly excited about that movie.
So for those who
I still can't believe that he said Adele Dazeem. It's so iconic. One of the best moments ever in television history.
In television history.
And cultural history, truly.
For those of you who are living under a rock, Wicked is a film that came out last week. It's based on the 2003 musical of the same name, directed by John Chu, who is the director of such movies as Step Up 2, The Streets. I don't know that. And it stars Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo as the witches.
Wickedly talented Galinda, and Elphaba.
Right. And
respectively.
General premise of this movie is it opens up with Ariana Grande playing Glinda, the Good Witch.
Glinda the Good.
Alighting a effigy of the Wicked Witch of the West, whose name we find out later is Elphaba, played by Cynthia Erivo. And then one of the everyday villagers here, who's like celebrating the Wicked Witch's death, is like, hey, weren't you guys friends in college? And then it's like flashback to the origin story of Glinda and Elphaba.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's general thoughts here.
Did you ever watch the Broadway show? Did you ever see it done in like a regional theater?
Somehow I managed not to watch the musical.
Same.
But I knew of it. I mean, it was a huge cultural phenomenon, and it still is. Like, I think it's still very popular on Broadway.
I think every theater kid that we went to high school with, like, adored this movie and was singing it in the hallways all the time.
I have to be honest, I didn't know any of the songs before I watched the movie.
Oh? Not even popular?
No, none of them.
I'm also Defying Gravity, Justin?
Remember, I'm not on TikTok. So I think popular is, like, especially popular, no pun intended, right now because of TikTok. Like, it's a very TikTokable song, that one.
Wow.
But yeah, I didn't know any of them.
That's wild.
What's your history with it other than what we just talked about?
I did not ever see that movie. I mean, I never saw the play. I had seen clips online, but I'd never like watched a whole scene even from the play. And I did not read the novel that the musical is written, on which you know what I'm saying.
It's a twisted web. So there was obviously the original Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz.
And then following that film, which came out famously, you know, Judy Garland.
Yeah.
We all know it, Technicolor. There was a series of novels that's kind of like the backstory of the world of Oz.
Right.
And it included this backstory of these two witches. And then one of the novels from that series was adapted into the musical. So it's like a whole bunch of series of adaptations that have happened here. So Geoff.
Yeah.
What were your overall thoughts of this movie? Did you like it?
Oh my god, I loved it. I thought it was excellent. I enjoyed the singing, of course. The set pieces I thought were really fun. It was like perfectly like dramatic. There was some great comedic elements to it. And yeah, it was just a great watch. It was very well done. My only complaint, which I think I've told you before off the pod, is that I always, when I think of like the Wizard of Oz and that whole land, that whole realm, world, if you will, I always think of it being like bright Technicolor. And I think that the colors and the way that this movie was like either edited or shot initially were a little bit more muted than I would have liked. But I wonder if that was to balance out all the like fantastical things that was happening to make it not so over the top and cartoonish. But I would have liked a little bit more Technicolor, you know?
Yeah.
What did you think about it visually?
Well, let me preface this, and I think I said this when we first talked about Wicked. I'm really not a musical person. So like I generally am not into musicals. When I planned to do Wicked, I was like, maybe I'll like Gladiator 2 better, you know? And I saw the original Gladiator and I was like, this is kind of more mid than I was expecting. Maybe I won't like either of these movies. So I had kind of like middling expectations going in.
Yeah, it sounds it.
I was shockingly blown away by this movie. This really
blown away
sold me.
Like Dorothy Gale's house.
Exactly. I was surprised at how political the plot of this movie was.
Very.
So I think that that's something that maybe people just don't talk about it because it's like a musical and the music is great, you know? Yeah. But the plot was surprising to me, especially considering it was originally written in 2003, you know? I think it's very relevant to today's moment.
Yep.
And yeah, I was impressed. I think that the performances from Ariana and Cynthia were really good, like excellent. I would say that Ariana's was a little bit bigger. She was almost playing it like it was like a comedy, you know, in certain ways. Like her character is very over the top.
I think her character is living in a different world than Cynthia Erivo's character was.
Right. I think both these actresses were typecast in their roles, right? Ariana very much plays this kind of like very privileged, like blonde girl who comes from a wealthy family, no worries, right? And she's never experienced any hardship in her life, right? And then you have Cynthia Erivo, who is playing this character who has been oppressed for her entire life.
Yep.
And from the outside, she seems like very self-serious. And people are like, why do you care so much? Shouldn't you care less about this? You know? And I think that it's interesting that these actresses' real-life personas match the characters so well. And if I have one criticism of the movie, it's that, well, it's not even a criticism because I haven't seen part 2 yet. I don't know what the plot is, right?
Okay.
But here's what I'll say. First half an hour of this movie, my thoughts were, oh no, is Glinda going to be the protagonist of this movie? Because I fucking hate Glinda.
Interesting.
She sucks so much. I was like, she is so bad.
Yeah.
And like at the same time, she is obviously very charming because she's played by Ariana Grande.
Yep.
And she has these like sidekicks played by Bowen Yang and somebody else whose name I don't know.
Yeah, I don't actually know the actress's name either.
It's very like Mean Girls-y in a way that I think will be easily memed and like will become kind of like goals for a certain segment of people. And I was like, I am going to be uncomfortable if it turns out that Glinda is somehow redeemed in this movie. And I still don't really know where her character arc ends up after part 2 because importantly, we haven't even talked about this. It's only part 1.
Yeah. Part 1.
There's a part 2 coming out next year.
Part 1 was 2 hours and 40 minutes long.
Very long film.
Very long. It felt to me like it went by quickly.
Once we got past the halfway point. Because I was dragging at the beginning there because I was like, it's really hard for me to watch.
You were anti-Glinda.
Yeah. I really don't like Glinda.
By the way, how funny the whole thing about the name. Because in interviews leading up to this, because their press tour, which we have to talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
It's insane, but Ariana Grande kept saying Galinda, and I was like, is she just like speaking with a strange affectation, or like have I been missing this, or did the original movie Wizard of Oz change the name of the character to be Glinda because it was easier to say or more normal? And then there was a whole scene where she's like, I have an announcement, I'm changing the way you pronounce my name. And I was like, wait, this makes so much sense for this character.
Yep.
It was great.
But yeah, I think that surprisingly the movie is a lot about like white feminism.
Yeah.
And the problems with white feminism.
Absolutely.
And Glinda is like literally white feminism incarnate in this movie. And I was like, I really hope they don't basically redeem her in some way.
Yeah.
I still don't know if they do in part 2 because I don't know what happens. But
I read the synopsis of part 2 of the musical, the second act. So basically this first movie was just the first act of the play, expanded upon, obviously.
Yeah.
But I read the synopsis of act 2 of the play, and so now I know, and I think that you'll be pleased where things end up.
Okay.
My understanding is that the movie has taken some liberties and changed some things, so it could be different than the synopsis that I read, but I think that you'll be pleased.
That's good to know. That's good. Yeah, so maybe let's talk about that press tour that you referenced earlier before we get into the details about the movie.
I'm holding space for the press tour because it's just truly insane what's been going on.
This is another reason why I thought the movie might not be good. Because sometimes when there's bad vibes around a movie, like press tour can also be awkward, right? This is similar to like Joker, Folie à Deux, right? Where it was like, there's bad vibes around this, like Joaquin and Lady Gaga are not really like selling this movie very well.
Yeah.
And there was some like kind of foolish controversies about like posts that Cynthia Erivo made on Instagram and stuff that surrounded this movie.
Oh my God, the posts.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Okay, so let's like go one by one through some of the things that happened during this press tour.
I still don't really understand it, but basically what I recall is that somebody... So the poster for the movie featured... It was similar to the poster that is on like the playbill for the musical. But this one featured like the faces of the performers because obviously Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande are part of the reason people are going to see this because these two actors are in this role. The musical, intentionally, I think, the art direction there was they knew that this was going to be a hit and they knew it was going to go on and on, so they didn't want recognizable faces for each character in the playbill. They just wanted to see the ethos of the character so that you could see any of the new Broadway actors in these roles as those characters. Mm-hmm. So a fan tried to make the movie poster look more similar to the original musical playbill poster, and they reposted it, and then Cynthia Erivo did something very odd, which was she responded online being like, this is very harmful, and, you know, I've put so much of myself into this film, and it's very offensive that you would try to erase me from it. And I think that the response around that was kind of like, it's just like a poster manipulation, it's just a fan art, like,
can we chill?
Everyone does this.
It's 2024. People make fan art. You know, there's fan edits for everything now.
Yeah.
You know?
And it was just odd that she, like, doubled down about it and was like, well, you know, I put a lot of time into this movie and this, I really, you know, became this character and this character is no longer separate from me. And it's like, okay, this seems like a little self-serious. Like, there's a lack of humor here.
And then she also referenced this meme, which has been going around since the musical was, like, first premiered. About like, is your pussy green? Which is this like,
I did not know this.
Yeah,
Tell me.
She was in the post that she posted. She was like, this is just as bad as people reposting like, is your pussy green?
Which I didn't know that.
Which is this meme that it was like somebody in New York, like probably like a drunk person or a homeless person, wrote in Sharpie on the Wicked poster, is your pussy green?
I'm sorry, that's really funny.
Exactly. I mean, and then somebody took a picture of it and it was like a meme.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe Cynthia just wasn't aware that this was a meme before the movie was being made.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah, for being kind.
Right.
At best, she did not know about this. At worst, she really is a self-serious and insufferable theater kid.
Because it is very crass. Like, that's a crass joke.
Sure.
But it's a meme. Like, that's the internet, you know? I will say that after, you know, a few weeks after this post was made, Cynthia made some comments in, like, press tours about how she was like, yeah, that was a bad moment for me. Like, I should have just kept my mouth shut. Like, I was offended, but, like, it was wrong for me to have posted about it on Maine, basically.
Interesting.
So that was one thing where I was like...
She got a little PR coaching.
Yeah. I was like, maybe the vibes around this movie are bad.
Got it. Okay.
But then I watched, you know, in the movie, like, I can see how she identified with this character.
100%.
Right? Because Elphaba, her character in the film, who becomes the Wicked Witch of the West, she...
Propaganda.
Right. She has, like, already kind of, like, overcome the stigma associated with her green skin color, right? Yep. Which to me was an obvious, like, racism allegory.
Yeah.
Right? which is shocking to me that in the original movie, she was played by a white woman, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, kind of surprising. Like, I think that it makes more sense to cast a black woman.
Do you know who she was played by?
Adele.
The wickedly talented
Adele Dazeem, yes.
Yes, Idina Menzel.
Yes, Idina Menzel of Frozen fame.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was kind of like, I'm surprised that this is, I mean, I'm not sure if in other productions maybe she was played by a black woman, but like, I was surprised that that wasn't the original casting choice. Because it seems so obviously like a racism allegory.
I think it was. We have to remember that this musical was debuted in 2003. I think there were a lot of people who were still like, I don't know, we don't know if we're willing to bet on a black lead actress.
Right.
Even though I'm sure the creator in their mind imagined this person as a person of color.
Yeah. And, you know, wronged that right by casting Cynthia in the role here in the film.
Sure.
And she does an incredible job. And I can see how she identifies with the character. And maybe,
100%.
You know, maybe she was feeling bad one day and saw this post and got pissed off on the internet.
Got a little bit in her feels.
Yeah.
The energy in the press tour is so funny. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo are just like clutching each other the entire time.
There's this really funny meme of the way that Ariana Grande is like holding Cynthia's finger in this one image. Like she's just like grasping it. like her emotional support finger.
Yes, it's so funny. And also, it's very funny because it reminds me of our conversation many episodes ago now at this point about Blake Lively and her press tour.
Yeah.
And this is so the opposite of the energy that Blake Lively had during that press tour. They are like over the top thankful and kind to their interviewers. And they're like, I love you. Thank you for being here. It's so wonderful to have you. I really appreciate that. And the interviewers, some of them have been like equally over the top and like overboard flattering. It's so funny. Like one of them was like, you know, we're really holding space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity. And Cynthia was just like, oh, you know, clutching at her chest and like, oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I'm like, what is happening? Right. What does that even mean? We're holding space for the lyrics?
It feels like a parallel universe, right? It's like this is the reality that the liberals want.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, too much woke.
Yeah.
All the red caps are coming out.
But yeah, the movie itself, excellent.
Loved it. What did you think of the singing, Justin?
Well, again, I'm not a big musical guy. I think that's
why I'm asking.
Vocally, both actresses were incredible.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to deny that. They importantly cast 2 singers in the lead roles, which I think is like bare minimum, right? I mean, you look at like Les Mis, which we mentioned earlier, like Russell Crowe, not a singer, was garbage in that movie.
Yeah. What about Emma Watson in Beauty and the Beast?
Another good example, I think La La Land.
That was tough.
People liked it for this reason, that the voices sounded realistic, but also not Broadway voices.
Singers.
Yeah.
Singers.
So hard to deny that, you know, Cynthia and Ariana were absolutely incredible vocally.
What did you think about Jeff Goldblum?
Great casting for Oz.
Yeah.
Like, he is
great, right?
He's a great casting for the Wizard. Singing wise, he was the weakest link.
Yeah.
He had like one small bit, basically, if I remember correctly. And it was not amazing. But I think he makes up for it by being Jeff Goldblum.
What about Peter Dinklage as a professor?
Okay, this is a quick funny story about his character who plays... So Peter Dinklage voices a CGI goat professor. Right?
Yeah. What's his name? I'm trying to remember his name. Dr. Dillamond.
Yes, Dr. Dillamond.
The history professor.
At the beginning of the movie, Elphaba shows up to this like magic school, right? And everybody is like gasping and screaming and running away from her because her skin is green, right? And in my head, I'm like, okay, you're telling me this is a world where there's like walking, talking bears who deliver infants from pregnant mothers and they're scared about a green-skinned woman?
I know, right?
But I was wrong. Later on, there's a major plot point about how it turns out this culture is actually, you know, discriminatory towards animals.
Yeah.
And I'm like, touche, Wicked, touche.
What about, did you notice this? That all the animals aside from Dr. Dillamond, who was the only remaining animal professor at Shiz University, they were all in roles of servitude.
Yeah. And Jeff, let me tell you, I'm not a musical person, like I mentioned many times. I would watch the shit out of a non-musical political drama about these animals organizing against the evil
Wouldn't it be
empire
so
of Oz.
Interesting?
That was when the movie clicked for me.
Yeah.
Was when I was like, oh, there's like a political
there's
message
like deeper things
going on
happening
here.
here.
It's not just like, oh, Ariana or Glinda's being bitchy.
Yeah.
Cute. Haha. Like, it's more than just that. Like, there's actual stuff that's being tried to be said here.
I, too, was delightfully surprised by the depth of the movie.
Right.
Having never seen the source material.
And apparently the books that this musical is based on are, like, very in the lore.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, like, intricate plotting and, like, political machinations and stuff like that.
I want to read them.
I'd be curious to read them.
Yeah, it's very fascinating. I thought that Bowen Yang as Fanny, one of Glinda's friends, was so funny. I love when she fainted and he's like, a pastry! We need a pastry! It was so funny.
Yeah, like that whole dynamic was like, have you seen that meme where it's like, I forget what the exact words is, but it's like, girl does something psychopathic. Her gaze, slay queen.
Yes. That was
like
very
Bowen Yang was
dynamic
literally slay queen for psychopathic shit.
It
like,
was funny how Galinda was like sort of a Regina George of Shiz University, and she truly had her little army of like sycophants following her around.
Her clique.
That entire sequence for that song, What Is This Feeling? When they're all like, oh, Galinda, we're on your side, and like doing like an orchestrated dance with her was so funny.
Yeah. Yep.
The performances were so good. Ariana Grande was so funny. I was laughing my damn ass off in the theater.
Yeah, she was really funny. I mean, this is my problem, and I'm not sure, maybe you can help me unpack this.
Okay, we'll try.
I understand, I was watching her performance, and I was like, this performance is obviously great. I also understood that it was funny, but yes. I also hated her character so much.
Yeah.
That I was like, I can't laugh at it. I'm like, I don't even want to laugh at how bad, like, she's just... If I knew her in real life, I would loathe her, to use the terms of the film. Do you know what I mean? The character, obviously, not the actor. And I know that that's kind of the point, is that she's supposed to be like a problematic character. Like I said, she's like white feminism incarnate. But I had trouble at the beginning of the movie where she had so many songs. And the whole point seemed to be like, this movie's about Glinda. And I was very happy when it turned to be more about Elphaba. It's too real.
Yeah.
In some cases where I'm like, people who are like this in real life are laughed at, and it's kind of like, slay. Yeah. And I'm just like, no, we're not slaying. I fucking hate her.
we're not slaying.
Yeah.
I love that.
So that was like a tension that I had until I was like, oh, okay. This is maybe like a Trojan horse for people who do like people like Glinda, and like showing you how problematic that
yes,
mindset
I
can
I think that's part of what's genius about this musical, is that people who may not live such an examined life. This movie is a way that you can bring in people from all different walks of life, from different perspectives, and they all find something that they initially like about it, and then hopefully they start to really get it as the movie progresses. Right. I think that's part of what's great about it. Because, as somebody who's only ever seen the clips of songs and performances online before watching this movie, I also thought this was like a Mean Girls, well, not even that, because Mean Girls had depth to it too, but I think I saw it initially as like a superficial Team Pink, Team Green kind of movie, and like which character
which group are
girl?
You more like?
Yeah, and then I was like surprised at the depth of it. Like I thought I was going in to see like a silly, kind of surface level, not very deep, mindless musical.
I think it's interesting to compare Mean Girls and Wicked. And maybe this is a good time to get into spoiler territory.
Okay.
What's up, y'all? Editor Justin here. Just wanted to let you know if you want to skip spoilers for Wicked, you can go to 1:22:24. All right, let's get back to the pod.
Spoilers abound, F-slurs.
We're in spoiler territory now.
Spoiler alert.
So kind of like the message of Mean Girls, if we're talking about its underlying philosophy, is like, girls should stop being so mean to each other. Like, we're all dealing with the same stigmas, the same problems. Like, we should be more collegiate and nice to each other. Like, we should be kind. Wicked is not, at least as what I've seen in part one, is not really trying to say that. It seems more of a condemnation of white feminism, of Glinda.
Yes.
Right? That was the part that was surprising to me. Like, that it was that willing to be subversive, Listen, I don't know what happens in part two. We're in the spoiler section, so this is just speculation on my part, but I could totally see a plot of part two where Elphaba goes full revolutionary and she like tries to mount a campaign against Oz, and then it turns out through propaganda she's then villainized at the end, and Glinda is like a part of the propaganda machine by alighting her effigy at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So that's actually kind of like revolutionary and subversive for like a very major motion picture. And what's interesting about it is that it's very blunt as an object about that. It's not subtle, which, you know, that sounds like a negative, but I think it's not actually a negative, because if you're trying to get this political point across, sometimes you need to be blunt about it.
Yep.
You know? So yeah, I really liked that part of the movie.
I did too, and you're exactly right. I mean, you can kind of tell the foreshadowing that's happening in the retelling of the story from the beginning of the movie, where Glinda's like the first one to actually throw the torch on the effigy. Mm-hmm. And she comes down in like a bubble that sort of looks like a machine.
Yeah.
So is it real magic?
Yeah, exactly. Right. You know? Or is it Oz magic? Is it the wizard magic? Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about a couple of other minor things that I didn't like a ton. Not that it killed the movie for me. Okay. I've been saying, obviously, that I thought the movie was great. For the record, I think it was better than Gladiator II.
Oh, God, yeah.
There were a couple songs where I was like, okay, we get it. Like, not that the performances were bad, but it was just like, this is a 2 hour and 40 minute long movie.
There was only like 8 songs.
The song where Elphaba is like singing about how, what's his name, the love interest that is like there for some reason.
Oh.
And like how she, like, I'm like, we get it, you like girl. Him. Yeah. And like, he doesn't like you, or you're like jealous of, like, the love triangle thing, I could have done without the entire love triangle.
She's not saying that in the song. She's saying like, well, I've listened to the soundtrack a lot, so you probably don't know this from one listening, but she's basically saying like, I'm not going to be the girl who like ruins a relationship. Like, I'm not a home wrecker. And she's like, and anyway, it probably wouldn't work out because I'm green and people think I'm weird and you're used to like universal adoration.
Right.
So she's like, I'm not even going to pursue it. And she's like, also like, I don't want you to pursue me either. Like, just stay with the person who you really should be with.
Right. Which I thought that the whole like love aspect between Elphaba and what's his name? Jonathan Bailey's character. Yeah, Fiyero was just kind of unnecessary and there to be a love triangle. Like, I think that it works just as well if Elphaba's not interested at all in him. And he like has this, to him, mysterious attraction to her.
Yes.
You know, I'm like, we don't...
Well, and that's what she also sang in a song that it is. She's like, you just like me because I'm something you shouldn't have.
Right. Which is true, but then she also does have this, there is a mutual attraction.
Yes, definitely.
Which I'm kind of just like, do we need that from her? Like, I don't... It feels like just like a trope that they put in to have a love triangle when it didn't need to be there.
I agree with you.
And in the song, I was like, okay, can we just get to the interesting part again?
Because, again, you have to remember when this was written, that it was like revolutionary for there to be no male lead actors.
Yeah.
Like, it was
a minor criticism.
Yeah.
A minor criticism.
But I agree with you. The movie is not better because of it.
Right. And then another thing that I agree with you on is the color matching.
Yeah.
There were scenes that I think were really, really bright. You know,
Yes.
Like some of the Emerald City scenes. I think were really great.
I love the Emerald City.
The one that really stuck out to me as washed out was the number in the library with the spinning ladders, because of the
dancing through life.
Yes, they have this like effect, which is very common for some reason in modern movies, where it's like a green screen in the back, but they wash it out with all this bright light.
Yeah.
And it washed out the scene so bad that I was like, I feel like I'm watching a Marvel movie.
Yeah, it was like very low contrast, which I didn't like either.
So there were a couple moments like that, but I think generally, like...
Another part that I felt about that way, though, was part of The Wizard and I, when she's like running through that field.
Yeah.
And then overlooking like the wastelands.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, come on. We deserve to look at something more than this.
Yeah. I wasn't sure... Again, I felt like there was some lore that I was missing. I was like, I don't know enough about the world of Oz to like understand what this is referencing.
Yeah.
I was like, is this like a part of Oz that Dorothy traveled through and I'm not remembering? Because I think I vaguely remember fields. It's a little Kansas-like, you know? I don't know what it's trying to reference or if it was even trying to reference something.
Yeah.
But
now I might be missing something. So there's that book that we were talking about. I think it's called like The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West or something. They had that in my elementary school library at Groton Heights, and I went through a phase when I was very interested in The Wizard of Oz again, and so I saw that book and was like, oh, let me look at this, and it has like a map on the inside of it of the land of Oz, and it's huge.
That's what I mean, it's like Lord of the Rings level fantasy world.
Like, yeah, I mean, books. I don't think it's quite as intense in that, but it is nothing to sneeze at for sure.
Yeah.
It's at least Game of Thrones level,
Mm-hmm.
lore back there. So yeah, there are all kinds of different lands, and there's different kingdoms and fiefdoms and different sorcerers and things like that too. So a lot to get into. I'm gonna play on it. I want to know more.
Can I talk about my favorite part of the movie?
Yeah.
Which is, I think, it's defying gravity. I think that's everybody's favorite part of the movie. Am I crazy for thinking that?
No.
I think that was, again, as a non-musical person, that was the musical number that made me feel something.
Yeah.
And got some, got some chills, got some, blood pressure going up. And it aligned with, this is essentially, the song is about, this is Elphaba's decision to go full, I need to reset this society.
Yeah.
I cannot change the system from the inside. I need to become a revolutionary.
Yep.
That's what the song's about. Yeah, that emotional arc for Elphaba, and along with the musical aspect of it, gave me chills. And as somebody who's not usually, I have trouble with musicals because a lot of times they're just there's no subtext. It's very blunt. They're just saying things that are true, and I'm like, okay, sometimes I need that it to be subtle for me to think this is a really transformative song or something. But Defying Gravity, it is blunt, but it's just so effective that it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I was just blown away by that set piece.
It was really excellent. It was well shot. It was sung well. It was evocative emotionally. And I think part of what I really loved about that section of the movie was actually the subtlety of Ariana Grande's performance during that.
This is a key moment of the movie. So I would love to talk more about this, but finish your thought.
Yeah, like you said, she'd really been going fully broad and big with her performance, which I think worked perfectly for the movie because she was the very necessary comedic element to keep me entertained and not just kind of damn, this sucks. And it's just truly a mirror for the world that we're also living in now.
Mm-hmm.
But the turn that she had when she suddenly was very real and serious and stopped talking with her fluttery high silly voice and was actually truly crying, but still not able to say I'm not strong enough to go and do what you are going to do, but I won't stand in your way right now. She still couldn't bring herself to be real enough to say that, but all the little things that she did were saying that without her having to.
And it was also it made it clear that this character that she was playing was a character, and not just as an actor. The character in the film is herself having a facade.
Yes, exactly.
Right, and it breaks down a little bit there. Yep. And I had mixed feelings about this because, again, I did not like Glinda. So when Glinda, I think there was a moment where Glinda is okay, I'll go with you. And then Elphaba tries to pull her along, but then Oz's goons kind of take Glinda off the broom, right? And then there's this part of the song where Elphaba's no, it's not her, you want me, you know, trying to defend Glinda. And that kind of takes the blame off of Glinda a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's if the goons hadn't grabbed her, maybe she would have helped Elphaba and gone off and been courageous and done whatever she had to do. It leaves that possibility open for Glinda apologists, basically. And I feel it might have matched her character more if she was just I can't go with you.
I see how you're thinking that way, but I think you, again, because you've only watched it once, and I'm for once not criticizing you, I think you missed a few things that happened right before that because it was kind of a chaotic, 8 minutes of a scene.
It was boom, boom, boom. A lot
with
of
them
at that moment.
trying to flee from a hot air balloon and then running to a different chamber and then near the roof. But what actually happened is that once the window had been broken and it was windy and she was come with me, Glinda was you're going to be cold, and then ran over to the corner and got her the cape.
Yeah, the cape.
Basically saying you're going to be cold when I'm not with you, and here you go. And she was kind of because at that point she had started crying and was it was very clear that she wasn't actually going with her, but couldn't bring herself to tell her friend that you're on your own.
Yeah. I guess, I didn't catch that. I guess I had just assumed, I thought that she was still planning on going with her at that point, basically.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I think when she puts the cape on and she's I forget what Glinda says, but something to the effect of that really suits you. And Elphaba kind of nods at her. Glinda just crosses her arms and actually steps back away from her. She's very clearly signaling like I have to step back from you
Right.
because I don't have the strength and fortitude to do what you're gonna do.
She's a
like,
false ally.
Yes.
Like
white feminism.
Exactly. She's weak.
Yes.
Ultimately. And she wants to try to have her cake and eat it too. She wants to try to maintain her friendship with Elphaba while not allying with her in the political, like,
where it counts.
Yeah, the political mission that she's on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I think some people say like that it's actually like a sign of strength for her to like abandon her friend now before the going gets tougher. I don't particularly agree with that.
This is my problem with it, is that it gives Glinda a little bit of an out.
It gives you now. Yeah.
And if you are somebody who sympathizes more with her, I worry that the message is like,
messaging.
Right. It's like, oh, both sides have points, basically.
Right. And it's like, well, she got you this far.
Right.
Isn't that enough?
And it's absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I personally cannot watch this movie and think like, how can anybody side with Glinda after this?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the people who do are completely in the wrong. Like, they just are. But I also don't know that that's the majority of people.
I also wonder if there might be a turn. You know, things obviously escalate in part 2.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's a turn. You know, it reminds me of like Breaking... I never thought I would be comparing Wicked to Breaking Bad. But in Breaking Bad, everybody has a point in that show where they're like, oh, now I see that Walt is the bad guy.
Yeah.
And it's slightly different for every person based on your like moral compass and like
Right.
your interpretation of the character. Maybe Glinda's arc is similar, where like I'm somebody who I watched the first 15 minutes of Wicked and I'm like, Glinda's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Or like, at least I hope Glinda's the bad guy.
Yep.
Somebody else might watch it and then not understand that or not make that turn until later, you know, in part 2 or something.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also wanted to point out a couple of other things. I mean, like, I know for certain that the team Universal and the publicists who are going to be promoting this movie for award seasons and campaigning, I know for certain, based on a Variety article, that Ariana is going to be put forward for consideration as a Best Supporting Actress nominee, and Cynthia Erivo will be propped up as a Best Actress nominee. But I think like that they're both going to win because they were both so good. I mean, there's like tiny little things in Ariana Grande's performance, which I actually think of the two, I liked more because there was such a wider range of emotion that she played. But one thing that I noticed is that when Glinda is super fixated on how she's appearing to other people, her voice is a lot higher, and even when she's singing, she's like doing all kinds of like operatic trills and things.
Mm-hmm.
And that when she's singing more sincerely and speaking more sincerely, her voice is like pitched down to a normal speaking voice. So little things like that, I think, were just like super eye-opening, and I was like, oh wow, you can really tell when she's like part of the machine and when she's actually connecting, you know, in a real way with other characters.
Yeah. So let's go out of spoiler conversation, and maybe talk like awards, as you mentioned here.
Awards!
Awards.
It's a favorite season, Justin.
Yeah, I think this really has, I mean, and also its status as a musical, right?
Yeah.
We've had a lot of musicals in the last few years that are not marketed as musicals.
Mean
and
Girls.
people like show up
2024.
and they're like, wait, this is a musical?
Yeah.
Like Mean Girls. Like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory like thing with Timmy Chalamet, right?
Oh, I didn't know that was a musical still.
A musical.
I didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
No.
Yeah, it looked bad, right?
It seemed like one of those unnecessary reboot type things.
Too many of those these days.
But yeah, I mean, this movie was marketed towards musical lovers.
Yes.
It did not shy away from its status as a musical.
Certainly not.
And look at how it did in the box office. It's
Killed
almost
it.
like if you set people's expectations correctly, it's the right decision.
Yeah.
As opposed to people who showed up to Mean Girls and were like, wait, this is a musical?
Right, exactly. It's so weird to me that studios do that still.
It's really just
Like,
that people are
have we not
afraid
learned
of...
our lesson about this?
The executives are afraid of alienating like the male audience.
Mhm.
Of course. I will say I watched some football games over Thanksgiving with my family. They had a lot of Wicked ads.
Oh, yeah. I bet
Those
they did.
ads had no mention that it was a musical. It was
Really?
like all the dramatic moments.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That is so interesting.
So I do think that, I mean,
Four-quadrant marketing tactic.
right. And I think it did hit the 4 quadrants. It's been wildly successful.
Wickedly successful.
I think it's one of the most expensive movies that Universal has ever made, but I think it's
Really?
going to recoup its budget. And
Well, we got to talk about this. the sets that they built for that movie are incredible.
Yeah, there are a lot of practical sets like that.
I love that.
That library set. Even though we criticized the coloring, like a lot of those, it seemed like many of those props like were functional.
Yes.
Like sets.
Yeah, like the spinning library cases.
Right.
The Emerald City, they built the majority of that out exterior where they were wandering through the city. One short day.
Yeah.
One short day in the Emerald City. That was all built.
Practical.
Shiz, the exterior Shiz with the little boat entry and everything. That was all practical. Also, you know what I think is so funny? Remember how they made Dorothy walk the yellow brick road?
Yeah.
To get to Oz?
Mm-hmm.
Bitch, why don't you hop on that train? That cunty little bullet train right to the Emerald City. No one could tell her about that? They got this bitch walking in heels.
Also, costuming.
Costuming incredible.
Absolute shoe-in for costuming awards.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's going to win. Also, special effects, generally, pretty good.
Very good.
A little bit Marvel-y, especially, I think, with the flying monkeys. But
yeah. The flying monkey scene was great.
It was great. The monkeys were definitely a little bit Marvel-y looking, in the way that they were, like, a little bit too, like, Uncanny Valley looking.
Yes.
But great. And the thing that sticks out in my mind, the image that sticks in my mind, is that final Defying Gravity note with the absolutely massive cape.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like the final scene of like WandaVision with Wanda and the Stronghold book.
Yep.
So witchy, which of course is the intention, and like powerful, and just like such a striking image to end it on. Whew.
That was very cool.
Yeah.
And on Broadway, they like put the Elphaba actor on like a lift and had like an extra on cape. So when they lifted her up, it was like the whole stage was like black behind them.
That's so cool.
And they did like this cool thing where they like tilted the floor of the stage. So it was like forced perspective with like all the townspeople and the Osguards being like, kill her, get her, Ron. They're like looking up. It was very cool.
Pretty cool.
You should look it up on the YouTube.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
So yeah, I love this movie.
Yeah, it was great.
I was surprised at how much I liked it.
I am too, honestly. I was like, I think he'll like begrudgingly like it, but have a lot of criticisms.
Well, I think that,
you
again,
have very few criticisms.
Note I didn't talk about the songs that much.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not saying that the songs are bad. I'm just saying that for me, that was not the draw of the movie. But there was enough still there in terms of its like underlying message, the performances, the aesthetic, that I still really enjoyed it. It's not for me, but there was enough there for me that I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to part 2.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. With that, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
And we'll be right back with our What's Goods. We are back again. But Jeff.
Yes.
It's time. It's the end of the pod.
Yes, it is.
And we talked about quite a few things. It was a packed episode.
It was a packed episode.
But I think 3 major things.
3.
We talked about noted flop.
Drake.
We talked about noted, I would say mid-film.
Yeah.
Gladiator 2.
Middling film.
We talked about noted banger count 1 for the episode. Wicked.
Uh-huh.
But now it's time to talk about, I would say, another banger.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is yet. I'm sure it's a banger, though. Yeah.
You know it's going to be good.
I do know it's going to be good, which is why I have to ask you now, Jeff. What's good?
Well, Justin, what is good is rewatching the clip of John Travolta absolutely butchering Idina Menzel's introduction at the Academy Awards and saying, the wickedly talented Adele Dazeem. It's so good.
Yes.
It's
an
good,
iconic
Justin.
moment of television.
I can't tell you how many times I've watched it this week. I have been laughing my damn ass off in bed. I wake up in the morning, I'm scrolling, and then I'm like finally get bored, and I'm like 10 minutes into my morning doom scroll, and then I'm like, I need the serotonin hit again of John Travolta saying wickedly talented. I've watched it, I would say, 50 times this week. In fact, one point I put it on in the shower, because sometimes I put my phone in the shower on the little shelf so I can watch, like, I'll watch like an episode of Last Week Tonight or something like that while I'm showering.
That's a long shower.
Well,
No, not criticizing, just an observation.
I like a long shower. What's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with that.
Nice to be steamy clean.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it on, and it was just on a loop. It was just, I found somebody reposted on TikTok, and I just left it on there. I laughed every time.
An unintentional earworm.
It's really in my head in a bad way. I think my brain's fully bad now. Like, I know I say that a lot, but I really think it's bad. I was struggling to find words during this episode.
You did great. We had a great conversation.
Well, you do a great thing. You do a great service to me. You're a great American by editing out all my ums, ahs, and I'm going to think of the word. Hold on. That's a peek behind the curtains, listeners. So yeah, that's what's good.
The link for that video will be in the show notes. So please watch.
Well, that's my what's good. It's an oldie but a goodie. And Justin, I don't know if yours is an oldie, but I'm sure that your what's good is going to be a goodie. So what's good?
Well, Jeff, I'm going to talk about a video game today. I'm going to try to be brief.
As you so often do.
I do. I love gaming.
You do love gaming.
So I'm going to talk about a new game that came out a couple weeks ago. It's called Rise of the Golden Idol.
Okay.
So this is a sequel to the 2022 game Case of the Golden Idol.
There's a lot of sequels happening today.
Yeah, a lot of sequels. Both games were developed by two Latvian brothers, Andrei and Ernests Klavins. I'm probably butchering those names. But a small development team, just two guys. These are, I would describe them as detective games. Okay. So both games feature a cast of characters in a specific era. The first game, Case of the Golden Idol, was set in the 1600s into 1700s, so like colonial period. European colonizing a bunch of other places.
Mm-hmm.
Case of the Golden Idol takes place in the 1970s.
Oh.
And
big fast forward. Yeah,
big fast forward. They both focus on this item, obviously called the Golden Idol. And this Golden Idol is some device that has like supernatural almost powers. And in both games, it's grabbed by some idiot who fucks around with the idol, only, of course, to find out what happens. And usually it's some incompetent fool who ends up with the idol, and he messes around with it and does some stupid shit.
It's like the monkey's paw.
Right. And I will say the plots of these games, I'll talk more about it later, but they're very cool. What the game is basically is you're presented with this like scene, and it's almost like a GIF where like there's a motion happening and it re-rolls basically every like 2 seconds.
Okay.
The first game had this like Microsoft Painty aesthetic that was kind of pixely, and the newer game is more high def, but both of them share this kind of like very off-putting art style that's almost like 90s cartoons, like Ren and Stimpy vibes.
Oh, okay.
Where everybody just looks like a little off in some way.
Okay.
And it's kind of like fitting for the subject matter of the games, because usually these scenes are like murders or crimes that have happened. Just Google like Case of the Golden Idol and you'll see what the art style looks like.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
You see this image of like a murder, and there's little symbols to indicate where you can investigate the scene. So like you might be able to see what's in somebody's pocket or see what items are in this trash can. And there's notes and there's guns and all kinds of other information that you can find out. So you're playing like investigator, and your role is to basically figure out who did what in the scene.
Okay.
And basically solve the case, right?
Oh, that's cool.
So it's very like low key. You don't really have to be, somebody who plays Call of Duty all the time to play this game.
Yeah.
It's heavily like a puzzle game. And there's essentially like a solution board that's kind of like a Mad Lib, where it's like blank person used the blank to blank person.
Okay.
And like as you investigate the scene, you build up your pool of words. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I investigated Bob. So now I can take Bob's name and I can see that he's the one who got shot.
Yep.
So I can fill his name in. And you have to like study the scene and use your methods of inference to figure out what happened. What's really cool is that in both games later on, you kind of you realize that all these scenes are part of a holistic plot.
Oh, okay.
You realize things you kind of discover things on your own without the game having to tell you. And sometimes those discoveries are like the crux.
Are there little Easter eggs?
No, not even Easter eggs. Like, it's the crux that lets you understand what happened in a given scene.
Okay.
So, like, I don't want to spoil it for people who might play the game, but, like, maybe a character that you see in an early scene is the same character as a character you see in a later scene, but in disguise. And once you figure that out, you can put the right name in that later scene, right?
Got it.
And you can only discover that through, like, context cues, right? The game isn't telling you this explicitly. You just have to, like, figure it out. And it's that sense of discovery that I love. Like, that is the best part of any game for me. So, yeah, they're very fun puzzle games. They're available on pretty much anything you could possibly want to play them on. They're available on PC.
So I could get on Switch
You
if
get
I
on
wanted
Switch.
to.
They even, insanely, both games are available on mobile if you subscribe to Netflix for free.
What?
I don't know if you knew this, but Netflix has like a gaming division. They're trying to go into gaming.
Wait, I think you told me this like a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember if it was on the pod or not.
It's similar to the Xbox Game Pass, which is something that we have talked about.
We've talked about that.
So it's similar to that in that Netflix is trying to offer as part of their subscription package these cloud games that you can play on the cloud. So you don't have to play them on local hardware. It's like running on some server farm and just being streamed to your phone.
I know what the cloud is. My brain's not that broken.
For a game like this, it's great because you don't have to have great reflexes. It's not like a Twitch shooter or something.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have like super good latency, right? It's just a puzzle game.
Do you know what? I downloaded this game on my phone called Last War.
Oh no. You totally got the ads.
I got the ads. I said, that looks fun. I want to be able to do it. And I gotta tell you, it's a lot of fun. I probably spent like 4 hours in the last week playing it.
You know, Jeff, I also downloaded that game, played it until the money started being requested of me.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, I gotta delete this because this is a time waster.
Ixnay on the anime.
Yeah. They really like drip feed you the fun parts. And then it's like, here's a million other non-fun things that you have to do if you want to keep doing the fun parts.
Upgrading my camps.
I don't give a shit about that. Just give me the levels.
Yeah, exactly. Dumb. This game sounds like a great replacement for that. And it's for free.
It's for free if you have Netflix. You can download both. There's 2 games. Rise of the Golden Idol, which is the newer one, just came out a couple weeks ago.
Of, right?
Case of the Golden Idol is the original one that came out a few years ago. Both of them are available for free on mobile if you have Netflix. It's like Sudoku, but the rules change every time. Like, it really feels like that.
I love mysteries.
It's a great game, and I love these detective genre of games, so I would highly recommend you play Rise of the Golden Idol and its earlier game, the first installment, Case of the Golden Idol.
You know what? You were saying that it reminded you of Ren and Stimpy, the aesthetic of it, and I totally see that. And then I was like, I know that there's one guy who is in charge of this, and he also was the one who did art direction for SpongeBob, and his favorite part of SpongeBob was doing the like close-up scenes of SpongeBob, this close-up stills. And his name is Vincent Paul Walker. He's an animator, a storyboard artist, and an art and technical director. And he was on Ren and Stimpy. He did those things on SpongeBob. And yes, the artwork in this game, The Case of the Golden Idol, is very much aligned with that kind of aesthetic.
It's hard to describe, and I think that some people might see it and be immediately turned off because it looks...
it's a little off-putting.
It's off-putting.
Yeah. It also reminds me of Real Monsters.
Yes.
Like kind of grimy and sort of grotesque looking.
But this game is like these games are deeply cynical about people.
Yeah.
That's what the storyline is about, is that it's like people are just grasping for power, and then inevitably like idiots end up having the power, and shit goes down because of it, basically.
Don't we know that to be true?
We do. So yeah, play it.
Love that. I'm going to get it since it's for free on Netflix. Hey.
This has been an excellent episode of Bants, Jeff.
I would say it's a wickedly good.
A wickedly talented podcast episode by...
Oh my god. Adele Dazeem. I think I'm going to name my first child Adele Dazeem. Adele's a great name, and no one needs to know the middle name. It can just be for lols. Like, I'll tell my friends.
You're going to name your child a name for lols?
Yeah, why not?
Mostly for the child's sake.
Well, guess what? If that kid ain't making me laugh, what good is it? They are a form of entertainment. Kids say the darndest things. They made a whole TV show about it, Justin. You gotta get cultured.
Well, with that, I think it's time to say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been a wickedly great episode of Bants with Geoff and Justin. Bants is created and produced by Jeff Taylor and Justin Benavidez. Graphic design by me. Editing by Justin. The theme music for Bants is the track Nebraska With You by Sam Day and is provided by No Copyright Sounds. Email us at bantspod@gmail.com with any questions, recommendations, or just to say hi. If you like the podcast, rate and review us on Apple or Spotify, and tell your friends. Bye!
Bye.
Guess who's back again. Jeffrey's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back. 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 You created a monster, but nobody wants to see Shady no more. Okay.
That was just like... You know when you watch one of those movies and you're like, I thought it was going to end 4 times?
Yes.